you want to start with some flour in a well. And here I've got about 1½ cups of unbleached flour. And all I want to add to that are 2 eggs. So now I'm making this the way Mom would make it. And I've added a little salt with the flour because, well, that's the way you make homemade pasta. And now this is pasta fresca because we're making pasta which has eggs, and we're going to be cooking this immediately. So when you get your well on the board, well, then you want to get these eggs beaten up with the flour, but you want to make sure that you keep this well together. So now here's a white onion, 1 medium white onion that's just been cut thinly, and I want that to go into my olive oil now, and I want to just stir that around for a little bit because I want that to saute down. This is going to be a sauce for this. And with that, I'm going to cook some prosciutto. And now that's Italian raw cured ham. If you didn't have prosciutto, well, then you could use ham, just regular ham, or you could use pancetta, which is Italian bacon. So I want to stir this around and let this cook slowly now until the prosciutto starts to brown a little bit and those onions saute down. So I'm going to keep my eye on that and come back to this pasta. Now when you do this, of course, you want to have ready a big pot. You have to do something which every Italian mother and grandmother does with pasta, and that is you have to let it rest at least 10 minutes because that allows the gluten in the dough to relax, and then you can stretch the dough and roll it a lot easier. So there is my rested dough. And I know that that dough is ready to work because I can do that. And those indentations just stay there. So now I want to cut this up. And now here's where I deviate a little bit from Mom, because now this whole process was done by hand. And if she's watching today, well, maybe she's going to learn a little bit something from me. Do you believe it? So now to use the pasta machine, here's mine. And all I want to do is run this through on in my roller, and I want to get this thinned down. So there, we can converse again. All right, there's my sheet of pasta. And now I want to cut that up, cut that in half rather, because I only want to use one piece at a time and set that aside. Now, Mom would cut out little pieces from that just by hand, but here's my way of doing it. With a little ravioli maker. Now, this normally you would put one sheet down, make little impressions, fill with cheese, and put the next sheet on top. Roll over it and you have ravioli. Well, today you're getting pizza, and you only use one sheet of dough. You don't even need this. All you want to do is put the dough over the form, you see? Just like that. And then with a vengeance, roll over it. And that cuts your pieces. And you take the excess off. Actually, I probably could have cut that a little better on that side, but so what? These are supposed to be random looking pieces. Get the excess dough off, and then, you see, those do look like little patches, don't they? And then just shake them out and separate them. Now, I'm going to be cooking these immediately, but you could actually dry these if you wanted to and cook them the next day. So just separate the pieces. And what was neat about this, of course, was it had that homemade look to it. And then, if you didn't want to be so generic, well, then you could just take these and you could pinch the center, just like that, you see? And I know that you know what that is. That's called a farfalla, or a butterfly in Italian. You're ready to go. Take the pasta, dump it right into the pot. And here's some more that I made earlier while I was waiting for you. So I want to get all of those up. And they go into the pot as well, you see? All of them. Get in there. Did I lose any? Can't lose that one because somebody's going to want that. So now all I want to do is give this a stir and let this come to a boil. And now, as you know, homemade pasta does not take as long as commercially prepared pasta to cook. So I got to keep my eye on that because in about 2 minutes that's going to be ready. And now, got to get the other things going for that because I'm going to have to put in some chicken broth for my sauce, and this is ready for it right now. So in goes, about a half a cup of hot chicken broth. And I want to let that cook just for a minute or so. So let me see how we're doing here, because I think that these look like they're just about, and they are. So I've got to get going here with my peas. So now, the next thing I want to put into my sauce is about 1 cup of fresh peas. And look, I don't even cook those. You just want to heat them, because peas, to me, don't even need cooking. And then we're going to want some cheese. And here I've got, some Parmesan cheese. And let me just cut a piece off and grate some. And you want, about a 1/2 cup. There's nothing worse than mushy pasta. It is done, which means I've got to get my platter. Now, this is really quick. All you want to do is have your butter. I've got about 4 tablespoons of butter. Put about a 1/2 cup of cheese in a platter, just like that. And then you want to drain that pasta. Let me get that out. I've got to put a little bit more cheese in there because that isn't quite a 1/2 cup. But drain that pasta well. See, get all the water off of it. Now this is really elegant, but it's so simple. And the only part that really took time was to make the pezze, or the little patches. And that goes right in there, you see, on the platter, just like that. Well, I got a few more in there, but I won't worry about those right now. And now, what you want to do is mix this around. Let me get another spoon, and let me get some more cheese. Here's some more of that grated Parmesan. So that goes over the top. And then all you want to do is toss this, you see, with the butter and the cheese. This is almost a northern Italian dish when you think about it, because it's using Parmesan cheese, which comes from northern Italy, and butter. And now that I have the pasta mixed, well, now it's time to put the sauce on. So just take this and turn off the heat, and this gets poured right over the top. Now, tell me that this does not look delicious, and all you want to do is fancy that up a little bit and take it to the table and serve it. Wonderful. Okay, well, that's one thing. How about that timbalo? Well, now, I got to get back to that. We've got our macaroni all mixed up.